that people's expectations have risen up so badly that not scoring a century is a bad form for him. I don't think he's in bad form. He scored his first 100 with a 6, first ODI 200 with a 6, first T20 100 with a 6, first Test century with a 6, and first overseas with a 600 with a 6. Sunil Gavaskar and Rishabh Kohli here in India said that Virat Kohli won the toss, he would have bowled first. And I was like, what? My statistics are going wrong again.
Hello and welcome everybody. So India winning against England at the fourth test at Kaya Oval by a massive 157 runs margin, and this win comes after 50 years in the Oval, and therefore I've got a very special person alongside me. As it's a special win, so it's a special person alongside me, and the owner of Lords of Cricket, the Instagram handle you all love in Instagram. Here I have got with me Durgesh Bhende. Well, Durgesh, a very warm welcome to you on our sets over here. And let me tell you guys one thing, Durgesh is a mechanical engineer and still he continues to persist with cricket, his passion, and tries to entertain all of you guys with loads of cricket. So that is one of the big things that we get to learn from Durgesh, follow the passion always. Well, anyways, welcome Durgesh. How sweet was the victory last night?
Thank you for the sweet introduction, Ajit. Sweet as in it's a too much sweet. 1971, India got past England 1-0. And I think it was Sunil Gavaskar's heroics that brought India into the game and won us the series in England for the first time. Then back in 1979, we got so close at the Oval where he started with Chetan Chauhan and then went on to score 220 and whatnot. And ultimately, it was like 78, 76, 79, 80, 81. Every year was bottom's heroics everywhere. So yeah, bottom got us like in a bit, and bottom salvaged England from a tricky situation, and then they won it for England. But in 1986, I think that was the first time in so many years India won a couple of matches in England overseas, going out in England and winning two matches. That was in 1986. And then after 2020, like 14 and 10, 20, 20, 24, 20, 25 years, we have won two matches on the trot. Not on the trot, but in the one series going in England in such overcast conditions, we have won two matches. But yeah, sweet. This victory is going to be cherished for like 15, 20 years, unless and until winning becomes a habit for Indian team. We have seen in the past couple of years that this team has that character and resilience, and there's so much attitude of winning overseas. Going in Australia, winning in Australia, going in England, we have done a superb job in England so far. Headingley was anyways going to be a comeback. I predicted that, and it's not like conditions were heavily overcast, but our execution was wrong, I would say. 1971 and 2021, like it's been 50 years, Golden Jubilee, a winning of Golden Jubilee. So yes, this victory is sweet as anything, and every Indian cricket fan is going to cherish this victory for them.
Absolutely, Durgesh. Very much on the same page with you. Couldn't agree more. Durgesh, the next thing that I would love to take you is that right on the day one of fourth test, and that is when India were in trouble, and Shardul Thakur came to the rescue, boosted the score with his quick half century, a very quick cameo from him. But still, India managed only 191 runs, and to what it seemed like a very flat pitch. Like that point, the conditions were overcast, but what the commentators and the broadcasters had predicted was that the next few days was to be very flat pitch. So keeping that in mind, did you thought at that point, on day one, that India might get over and get a victory, seal a victory, or just couldn't?
I was before the start of the match, we lost in Headingley, and then every cricket fan has a habit of like bringing into the statistics into the picture. And we sat in the office, we're thinking what is the India's record at the Oval, and then we took out last 2 decades record when England had played 19 test matches at the Oval, Kennington Oval, and they have won 13 matches. And the stats were like this: 5 times, 5 and 2, 5 and 4, 9 and 2, 11 times they have won the toss. They've elected to bat first 5 times. They have won 5 times. Sorry, it's my mistake. 11 times they have won the toss and elected to bat first. They have won 5 times. Elected to bat first, they have lost 4 times. And 2 were the drawing. And when they have elected to field first, they have won once and lost once. So these were the statistics. What I wanted is that if if at all Virat Kohli wins the toss, he should bat first. But unfortunately
To
or
break the
fortunately, let's
streak.
say whenever Virat Kohli has won the toss overseas, we have suffered a lot. Like in Adelaide, we have won the toss. We got all out on 36. In Chennai, but that was in India. We won the toss, we won the match, but I'm talking about overseas. When he won the toss at Headingley, we were all out 78.
Yeah.
And I was, my fingers were crossed while toss was going on, and then Virat Kohli lost the toss. Fortunately, at that time it was unfortunate because I thought we are going to ball first, and that was going to be unfortunate for me. According to my stats, we should have batted first. And when we batted first, like Root asked us to bat first, I was relaxed. Okay, we are going to do something very good out of this pitch. But when the stats of the weather came out, Sunil Gavaskar and Rishabh Kohli here in India said that Virat Kohli won the toss, he would have bowled first. And I was like, what? My statistics are going wrong again. What to do? And then overcast conditions, Anderson, they have got a new star, Oli Robinson. They're doing a fantastic job as fast bowlers.
Absolutely.
Rohit Sharma was out, and then ultimately Ajinkya Rani is out of form. I personally don't trust Rishabh Pant's innings. But Lord Shardul, as they call him, he came into rescue. He hit that 50 runs. I remember one thing of Lord Shardul. I'll call him Lord Shardul here. Indian team came to India after winning in Australia, and he stays in Palghar. It's on the outskirts of Mumbai.
Yep.
From Mumbai airport to Palghar, it takes nearly around 2 hours in the morning, and in the evening with that traffic, it takes nearly around 3.5 hours. So he reached somewhere near Jogeshwari, and then he wanted to get home fast. He got down of the car, he went to the train, he boarded the train, and then he went to home by his train. Such a enthusiastic personality he is, and is very calm. He's mentally very strong. We have seen him playing in the Kanga leagues. I go out there, I see him playing in domestic cricket. He's too good. He's too good, and he's very down to the earth person.
Yeah. All right. So that's great. Some insights from about Shardul Thakur, Lord Shardul Thakur, as we all know. Well, that's some interesting stats too from you, Durgesh. The next thing that I'd love to say is that on day 4, like when the game progressed, England batted in the first innings. At one point, 5 wickets were down, but then again, Chris Wokes and Oli Pop, they glued a very crucial partnership. Then again, India came, they got 99 runs lead, and then again, India batted well. And now coming to just fast forwarding it to day 4, at the end, what we saw is Hasib Hamid and Rory Burns, both of them, like 367 was the target, and they have got 77 at the end of day 4, and the pitch was more of a flatter pitch, and so there were a lot of talkings going on. The match could India is still ahead. England, some was saying that no, it's a 50-50 affair at the moment. So what was your thought at that point? Like did you feel that India could have managed a victory, or did you feel that it's a flattered pitch and England could have managed somehow with Joe Root being in the form of his life?
When England were 5 wickets down, then came Oli Robinson, and then what Australia was to Lakshman, I think India is to Chris Wokes. Whenever he plays against India, he performs by default. I don't know what it is. It's like it's his favorite team, his favorite opponent. God knows what it is. But yes, the resilience with which Oli Pope played, he was excellent. He was hitting the ball quite clearly. He was hitting the ball clean and short. So Oli Pope's innings is somewhat you can rate A class innings. But when slowly they started taking the lead, and then it went to 50 runs and then 80 runs, I thought the match is slipping away. Restricting them down to somewhere around between 300 was very important. But ultimately they took 99 runs lead. I knew England was all out on day 2. We had 3 days. And it's very difficult to bat in England for couple of days at least.
Absolutely.
And with overcast conditions, you get against the likes of Anderson, Oli Robinson, Chris Wokes was there, Moeen Ali was spinning the ball very well. So against these bowlers, you have to perform. Performing against these bowlers very well it's a Herculean task for any team who's playing in England. But the moment we knew that we have to play 2.5 days, the match was in question mark. I thought England would win. England will win. and then I was sure that England will win. But with what resilience and character Rohit Sharma played, absolute class, absolute class. And
Absolutely.
I remember he was 90 years. He has already played 90 odd balls, and he was somewhere around 45, 50 runs. I think he had just crossed 50 out of 95, 90, not even crossed 50 yet. And
No. Yeah.
Pujara was playing so fast, and suddenly I started talking to my brother. My brother said that all of a sudden Rohit Sharma is playing like Pujara, and Pujara is playing like Rohit Sharma.
Yeah. Everyone,
Yeah,
everyone was saying that.
everyone was saying. And Pujara was playing superbly. He was hitting the ball. He was watching the ball. He was living very well. Slowly, that tempo was built. Rohit Sharma got into the flow. He knew that Pujara was scoring. He took up the pace. And what a magnificent hand. He has scored his first 100 with the six, first ODI 200 with the six, first T20 100 with the six, first Test double century with the six, and first overseas with the six, 100 with the six. What a
Absolutely.
magnificent personality he is. I saw him
Absolutely.
playing in the Mumbai in domestic circuit, and with ease, what ease he plays. Like Virat Kohli says that he has an extra second in his time. What a super player he is.
Yeah,
What
I
a
hope
super
Rohit Sharma is not hearing you, else he won't find it good. Because every time we have seen Rohit Sharma reacting to it, like he always says, "No, man, I don't have extra second, but it's all about my hard work." He never believes.
he doesn't believe in talent. He said that he may
Yeah,
be talented, but he has worked a lot to come in.
yeah,
And
it's true. It's truth actually.
the statement that he gave, that shows that what character he's made up of, and he thinks of Test cricket supremely. Like he said that 100 is okay. I managed to play 212 balls. That was important to me.
Absolutely.
So, according to this statement, one has to take into account what Cheteshwar Pujara does on the ground. Playing 100 on balls, not scoring a run is a problem, but not scoring a run is also not a problem. When you play 100 balls, you take out that shine, you drain out the fast bowlers, and then you make a way to a batsman who are coming down the pitch. So yes, character is what this team has shown, and with that magnificent 100, I thought Pujara was going to hit 100 this time also, but unfortunately, that Oli Robinson's new ball it nicked and it hit the high pad and Mohini took the catch. But yes, there are those two wickets, and I think the match was again question mark because Virat Kohli was out of form. I would not say out of form, but he was playing some shots recklessly. In spite of getting out on cover drives, he was continuously playing cover drive. He said
But
that I will. Yeah, yes. You were saying
yeah, yeah, I get to understand that thing of Virat Kohli, what he thinks. Like he has always been a dominant character, what I feel, right from the start. Every time you see Virat Kohli is a dominant guy. Even like we saw in 2014, he had a rough patch there. He came back in 2018 and he was on top, right? So he had the dominating attitude that I am not gonna stop. So I feel that is where like he was continuously trying to play that. No, I'm not gonna be back down. I'll still play the cover drive and played
cover drive.
so good that no one can stop me. I think this was ringing his mind. But yeah, sometimes
I
you
would
need
differ.
to.
I would differ on one point, Ajit. You said
Yeah.
that 2014 was a bad patch. I don't think it was a bad patch. He went into
In England, I
Australia. He
mean to say.
scored four tests. He
In
came in
England.
England. He came in England. He scored 97 in one match. He scored 100 in one match. I think 2014 or 2018. I think that was 2014.
I think in 2014 he really had a very bad patch. We always get to hear.
Oh, I
He
think
scored.
yeah, that was 2018. He scored a
Yeah, yeah,
97 and then a 100. Yes.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
All right, no issues, no issues. Yeah. So yeah, that is the thing for Virat Kohli. Even I think Virat Kohli, this 44 he made in this test, I think this was the most cleanest 44, the smoothest run that he has scored. Because in the previous innings we saw him, trying to nick. He got saved quite a lot of times, in this tour too. And he was trying to nick that ball outside the off stump. But this time, this cover drives, a fluent, few on drives, few straight drives he played. It was very, very smooth. So let's hope for a Virat Kohli century too. We are hoping since the last 2 years, but let's hope once more.
Such is the stature of Virat Kohli that he has scored heavily in the past that people's expectations have risen up so badly that not scoring a century is a bad form for him. I don't think he's in bad form. He has got out on the duck couple of times, but that too he has got out on very good deliveries. But scoring 50s and then playing 100 odd balls and scoring 44 when your team needs you to stand on the pitch and then play 100 odd balls, he's doing a fair job, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember, I think I'm not sure about the perfect date, like how much days it has been that Virat Kohli scored last century. I only remember that it was against Bangladesh.
2019.
I remember it was
2019 was
in 2019 in Bangladesh. Sorry, in India against Bangladesh in the pink ball test.
Bangladesh.
But like Kumar Sangakkara, Kumar Sangakkara is one of those person. Recently, I saw one stat or post where Virat Kohli, like they were mentioning the days that Kohli hasn't scored a century, but Kumar Sangakkara, he's a great cricketer. We all know. The number
Absolutely.
of days he was centuryless was even more than Virat Kohli. So these things come when you're a great cricketer or any cricketer. These things come, and I think as Indian fans we need to understand these things and we need to support them, which they lack at some point.
Kumar Sangakkara's bad patch, and then he retired at the average of 57. He's absolute legend. There's no doubt in it. But one has to take into consideration that what character Kohli is made of. I'm using that word character again and again. Why? Because he has that pressure of delivering. His attitude on the field, that he said that he wants people to remember him for his attitude, not for his records. He said previously. The attitude he shows on the ground, and that energy he pumps into his own fielders. When he cheers up to every ball, he cheers up to every run stopped, and then what a captain should do and should not do. Perfect example is Virat Kohli. He pumps that energy into his fielders. You can take into consideration of an example like Mohammad Siraj. In this match, I'll come on this point very early, that once the new ball was into we wanted to take a new ball, and then Virat Kohli saw that ball is reversing, and then Bumrah saw it, the ball is reversing. He changed one end and said, Bumrah said that give me that ball, I want to ball. The ball is reverse swinging, and I'll deliver it for you. And then he bowled that 6 over spell. Yes, absolute. So this team is made up of that character. They want to win. They don't want to draw. They want to win. They want to want to fire every weapon and everything in their arsenal and to win the match. And against any opponents, I think Virat Kohli is the most successful captain, most successful Asian captain who has went into Sena countries and won matches. I think he has captained in 21 matches in combined 21 matches in all 4 Sena countries: South Africa, New Zealand, and South Africa, England, New Zealand, Australia. And he has won 6 matches. I think Javed Miandar had won 4 matches in 10 matches that he captained, and 4 or 6 matches. And Wasim Akram had won 4 matches in 10 matches that he's captain. So Virat Kohli now officially has become the most successful Asian captain of all time.
Yeah. All right. So that's some great stats. And I'm not really very good with stats, to be very honest. But it's great to hear great to have someone who is really keeps things going with stats. Well, yeah. So the next thing, Durgesh, that I would love to ask you is that Rohit Sharma was awarded the man of the match, right? But there were many of them who told that the actual MVP of the game, the most valuable player of the game, was Shardul Thakur. Scoring 2 half centuries in both the innings, and also getting wickets with the ball in hand. Big wickets of Joe Root and the other one of Rory Burns. So, according to you, had you been the judge or among the panelists of the selection who could have selected the man of the match, would it be Shardul Thakur or would it be Rohit Sharma? There's a tough call,
absolutely,
I know.
Absolutely, Shardul Thakur, not because he took those wickets, he scored those 50s, but he salvaged India from a tricky situation in both the innings. When team needed him to score, when team needed him to stay on the pitch, he did that thing. I'm not saying that Rohit's innings was not good. Everyone has to agree that he has played a superb innings to score that 121, 127, 120, whatever. But I think Shardul Thakur deserved this match, and I would say that his long to the ball is very wrong thing. He has played those proper cricketing shots, cover drives, straight drives, and superb cricketing shots, I must say. And hitting a 6 and 7 fours and 2 sixes in the 60, 61 runs, 57 runs is not a small thing. And I read somewhere that Rohit Sharma was man of the match, but Shardul was the lord of the match. So
great,
yes,
incredible.
This is the superb tagline I read today.
All right. So yeah, and as we know, taking away nothing from Rohit Sharma, to be very honest, but Shardul Thakur came in some crunch situations of the game, like where if his wicket was gone, then England would just pounce on India like anything. Speaking of the first innings, we all are aware that 51 or 57 runs, whatever he scored, boosted the innings to 190. Then Ellsworth, then it would be a 145 or 150 runs lead for England, and the tables could turn, because sometimes it's not about the numbers, sometimes it's also about the attitude, sometimes it's also the small things which makes a little bit of changes in the game, and then the players get all of a sudden pumped up, seeing that there's a good lead, we're going to do some we're going to knock some timbers over there. And also Shardul Thakur in the second innings, that was one situation where they got Virat Kohli out. It was Rishabh Pant in and Shardul Thakur from the other end. And they were, after they got the Kohli's wicket, they all were exhilarated and they felt like this is the moment, we have just done it. But only if they knew that a Lord was there to save Indians over there, against a crunching pressure maybe. So that has to be the thing. And Shardul Thakur also took that Rory Burns was really looking good, and that breakthrough was really needed. Shardul Thakur, the savior, and then once again Joe Root was trying to be the wall and looking to draw the test somehow. But sometimes one-man army doesn't work at all, isn't it? It's a harsh game, it's a funny game, cricket, and Shardul Thakur once again doing his job superbly. So Shardul Thakur could have been, well, it's always a debatable thing, but always Rohit Sharma also, he played a very crucial knock. But once again, the MVP has to be Shardul Thakur for me.
Absolutely. I read one stat. I had tweeted this thing that if India needs to win the match at the Oval, someone has to score 100. In 1979, I think Gavaskar scored 221, and then in 19 the match was drawn because of Ian Botham. We could have won that match. We lost it by 10 runs. In 1990, Azharuddin scored fantastic 179 in the first innings, but it was Sachin Tendulkar's first inning in Old Trafford that saved the match for us. In 2002 at Headingley and in the Oval and the Trent Bridge, Rahul Dravid brought us the series. In 2007, I think Kumle's in 2007 Trent Bridge or Old Trafford, I think in Trent Bridge, Murli Vijay's 100 saved us the match. So you have to score that big 100s. One cannot forget Anil Kumble's 110 not out. He is the only player to take 600 wickets and score 100. So yes, someone has to score 100, and this time Rohit did the job for us.
Yeah, absolutely. We also saw, Durgesh, we also saw that Ravindra Jadeja was sent ahead of Ajinkya Rahane in this test. He was batting at number 5. So do you see Ravindra Jadeja as a prospect, a number 5 prospect in the future too?
I don't think. There's been a book called Mission Domination written by Boria Majumdar. Yes. I recently got that book, and there was a chapter when India got out on 36 all out, and these people went on to Saurav Ganguly. Dada called them and asked them to meet me. So I'm shooting in this hotel. You just come and meet me. And then we all know Saurav Ganguly is a nonsense man. And he was asking these questions, how did this happen? 36 all out is not a mistake. I was just traveling by my car, and then my wife suddenly called me and said that India is 19 for 6. I said, are you watching highlights? Rahul was asking, are you watching highlights? She said, no, it's 19 for 6. And then by the time I reached hotel, it was 36 all out. How did this happen? And I think they said that the ball at which Ajinkya Rahane got out was a slaughter one. That was unplayable.
Okay.
Also, slaughter of a delivery.
Yeah.
That was an unplayable delivery. To which Saurav Ganguly saw the video and said, "Is this a unplayable delivery to a man of a stature like Ajinkya Rahane? He plays cover drive so well. His foot is not moving. How the hell did he got out? If he wants to hit that ball, even if he wants to play that ball, his foot should be moving." So yes, there are certain observations about Rahane. Rahane is a fantastic player. You cannot deny a class in Rahane. He's a classic player. And whenever team needed him, yes. He's whenever team needed him, he has delivered. But there is, like you said before, there are some bad patches in your life that doesn't lower your stature, that doesn't lower your quality. The form is temporary, class is permanent. I think Ajinkya Rahane, yes. But there are the Indian team and Indian cricket has done so much in past couple of years that even our bench strength is waiting for someone to underperform. And a man of a station like Ajinkya Rahane is underperforming at this stage is a worrisome problem. But I personally think that in Oval, Virat Kohli may give another chance to Ajinkya Rahane in Old Trafford because India is already 2-1 up, and all we need is a draw or a win. And I personally think they should go for a draw because stats say India has played 9 matches at Old Trafford, Manchester, and have won nothing. So it's
Well, well.
going to be a very serious challenge, and it's going to be a very serious job. But I think playing Ashwin is also considerable. Playing Hanuma Vihar is also considerable. And
Yeah.
I think Siraj may go out this time. I think. I think.
Yeah, I was coming back. I was coming to this point, Durgesh, and you have just said it. The next and the final question of this session was that what are the probable changes that you see in Team India and also in England? So, as you've said, would you like to illustrate a bit more?
Yes, I would. But before that, I would just end on this note that when India went past that lead of 300, I thought the pitch is so flat, and someone of a stature like Joe Root, who's in prime form, and what Oli Pope did in the first innings, and what Chris Wokes is able to do. If they get a good start, they have a very good chance because they are going to play a 1.5 days. But ultimately, it's going to be a bowling challenge and a resilience characters questions of Virat Kohli. And by the time they ended day 477 for Mulos, I thought they have a very good chance. And Hasim Ahmed is yet to bloom, but he has showed that character after getting out on a couple of ducks in Lords. He has done so far a good job for them. The question for me was in 1976 at the Oval. The Oval is docile and dead rubber pitch. It's a dead pitch. You have nothing out of pitch unless the conditions are overcast. It's thoroughly a heaven for batsmen.
Well, well.
So Michael Holding took 14 wickets, and that still stands a record for a fast bowler who has taken 14 wickets in a match at the Oval, which does not even give you a swing unless it's an overcast condition. When someone asked him what were your thoughts at the while playing at the Oval, and he said that I just targeted the stumps or the legs. And question was who is going to play Michael Holding for India? Bumrah did that job. He was bowling straight, either at the timber or at the foot. At that spell of 6 overs, 3 maidens, 6 runs, and 2 wickets. He could have
Three
got
spells.
3 wickets. Yeah. He could have got 3 wickets had that catch been not dropped by Ajinkya. So
Yeah,
I think
it was a difficult too, not that
it was
easy.
difficult. It was difficult.
But still is taken. It can be taken. We have seen
It could
catches
have been
like that
taken.
been taken.
Yes. It could have been
Yeah.
taken. Yes. Yeah, you're saying something. And then
Yeah, you carry on.
probable changes. Old Trafford is not going to be easy. The reason it's going to be overcast, and they have got a good support. It's not that India has not good support, but it's going to be tough for us. The thing is that celebration is okay unless and until we win the series. I don't think we are into the safer side. It's going to be anything. We are not going to lose a series here.
Yeah.
Okay, we are in the safe positions, but a person like Virat Kohli is not a person who wants to be in a safer situation. He wants to be at
Spot on.
the highest point of anything. So yes,
Absolutely.
probables. I think KL Rahul, Rohit Sharma, Cheteshwar Pujara has done. He has proven in last 2 3 innings. Virat Kohli. I think Ajinkya Rahane may get another chance. If he doesn't get any chance, Hanuma Vihari will come in. Jadeja may go out and Ashwin may come in. Siraj will go out and Prasiddh Krishna might get a chance.
Could
Because
happen.
I don't think they'll play. Yeah, I don't think they'll play Shami. Even Bumrah's ankle injury is very much into the question. If Bumrah goes out, that will be a very big blow for us. So we have a good bench strength. Surya is there, Prithvi Shaw is there, but I don't think they have any experience of playing in overcast conditions. And
Absolutely.
situation in England, taking into consideration in the last match, Old Trafford, I think we may go unchanged also if there are no probable injuries. I think Pujara is also slightly injured. I don't
Pujara is
think-
slightly injured. He
Yes,
had an
slightly
ankle
injured.
injury.
Exactly. So I don't know what will be the probable changes, but who may go out, who may come in. But I think Ashwin may come in. Jadeja may go out. I don't think, but there are fair chances also because the amount of left-handers they are playing with. I think Ashwin would be handy.
Yeah, absolutely. Ashwin would be handy, very much agreeable. I also think that they should also think about a little bit of management, workload management of a few players who also play the T20 game with the World Cup being in front of in the line. They also have IPL. IPL is not that a big thing, but the World Cup is. But so therefore, I think what if they can rest Jasprit Bumrah for a few matches and also rest someone like Ravindra Jadeja, as you mentioned, because Jadeja is an all-rounder. He plays all the formats. So there is a workload management. I think it needs to what England does especially, but we haven't seen them doing this in this series though, because of the injuries the bowlers have faced. Because else it's hardly to it's very tough. We rarely get to see James Anderson playing 4 tests on a trot for England. Maybe he might play the last one too, because England are one down, like they are behind at the moment. So what I personally think is that Ravindra Jadeja could go out and Ashwin should come in. And Sunil Gavaskar recently, he today I think in Sports Tak he said today or yesterday that Ashwin, this might be the last tour of Ashwin in England, because India are not going to tour England before 2023. Might be in 24 or 25. So you never know. You never know. But once again, I'd love to see Ashwin being back. After a long break. So I think, and the other thing is that if there's no Bumrah, I think you've made a very good call of bringing Prasidh Krishna in. He's got also the height. You know what Ollie Robinson does for England. I think if Krishna gets to do it for India, it will be very very good. But once again, Bumrah has made a stature for himself. He's the lead attack, and he can do. He doesn't need tracks or pitches, for him to perform. He just needs his mind is enough. His skills are enough. So that is it. Hanu Aviari has a chance, but you know what? I would love to see Riddhiman Shah play one. Rishabh Pant, I know they won't do it. I know they
But they
won't make
should
the
do it.
change.
People are loving Rishabh Pant and giving him a lot of chances. I'm not saying that he's not a good player, but I think playing four
Riddhiman,
matches and we are ahead. Yeah, Riddhiman Shah deserves a chance.
yeah, he's a very good keeper, and like he has suffered in the last 2 or 3 years. Whenever he's come in, he has to leave out for Rishabh Pant. Sometimes he had as his injuries. Once again, he came. He scored in the domestic, not very great season, but yeah, few 50s and 60s he's got in 2019 Ranji. So he made a comeback, and once again he was a part of the ping ball test against Bangladesh. Uh, but he didn't get to bat that much. I feel Ravindra Jadeja and Kohli played well in the end. Also Rahane. So Riddhima Shah, having they're 2-1 ahead at the moment, so they can give a chance to Saha, because Rishabh Pant might be in the wide ball format also in the T20 World Cup. So let's see what they do.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, absolutely.
But I would love to see Shah playing in the fifth test.
Me too. I'm a fan of Riddhiman Saha's technique, actually, not especially the
He's
technical
much more
temperament.
technical. He's much ahead in technical analysis than what Rishabh Pant is.
Yeah,
Rishabh Pant is a
absolutely.
slogger. I will say this on mic. He's a slogger. He's not developed that character and resilience of playing in Test cricket. But yes, luck has been favoring him. He has scored 100 in England. He has scored 100 in Australia. So yes, stats go by his side. So I can't say anything.
All right. Yeah, he's developing cricketer, and yeah, he's. I think the main thing why Rishabh Pant is selected is because he can bat with the tail. Like, yeah, now the Indian tail is scoring. That's a different thing. But earlier on, like if you look at even the last year, they weren't scoring that much. We all know that isn't there wasn't a Shardul Thakur, Shami, Jasprit Bumrah, Ishan Sharma. You can't rely on them. But Shami all of a sudden getting a 50 here. Yeah, he got a 50 earlier on. It was a few years back, I think. He wasn't consistent, but yeah. So that being the reason why Rishabh Pant has been taken into consideration, I feel, and not Riddhiman Saha, because Saha he takes time to get settled and then he can accelerate. So that is the thing.
This is what Test cricket is all about. Go hang on the pitch, play out 50 odd balls, take out the shine,
Very
drain the
much agree.
bowler's energy, and then
I agree with you to some point, but once again, Virendra Sehwag, we often get to tell Virendra Sehwag is a good test cricketer. Not that bad. We never say that because he has got that runs and he gives a different flavor to the team, maybe, or to the opposition. The opposition scares. So that is one of the things that Rishabh Pantu
yeah.
brings. So yeah,
But
there are
Rishabh plays at a position where team is in tricky situation. It's not like he every time comes when the team has scored 500 or 400 runs,
yeah.
and then you go out to play and your natural game. That is completely acceptable. When the team is in tricky situation, like Sydney Test, he scored 97, a fantastic innings. But had he scored that 100 and stayed for another 30, 40 runs, we had a very good chance of winning in Sydney as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, all right, Durgesh. Lastly, before I end this session, before we end this session, your what's your predictions for the last test? Draw, win, India
Uh,
wins, England win, whatever.
I don't know, but in previous episode with someone else, I had predicted after the Lord's Test that England may come back in Headingley, and they did, and it's going to be a 2-1 or 3-1 series for India. So I'm still sticking to my point of 2-1 or 3-1. India may win, but they should go for a draw. That's what I think. Sometimes what happens, you go for a win, and then you end up losing the match.
Yeah.
I don't want to see that. I bet no one else in India wants to see that either. So we want that series. We want that series coming home after so long years. After 14 years, we are going to win the series if possible. It's still a fingers crossed situation. 2007 we won. I don't think we should take a chance here. And I think the type of person Virat Kohli is will definitely go for a win. But I
Yeah.
think we should
I
come for
get your
India.
point. I get your point and very much agree with you. Virat Kohli will go for the win, I can assure you. And yeah, but the conditions, it also depends. Like if the conditions gets worsened, they might change and might stick to draw, like what happened in Sydney, you know, in the Sydney test. But it all depends on the situations, conditions, how the game persists, how it goes on, how it progresses. So yeah, that is it from the center over here with Durgesh. Thank you so much, guys, for sticking to us. And if you have watched this session throughout, and yes, before we sign off, it's make sure you subscribe Cricket Reborn on YouTube. If you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and if you are on Telegram, make sure to be a part of our Telegram group. And because we give fantasy teams on various matches over here. And yes, do not to uh, forget to follow loads of cricket out there in Instagram, because he gives some amazing historic stats and also some stories that you'll love to hear, you'll love to read. So yeah, that is it, the final words from me. Anything that you would love to say, Durgesh?
Just keep watching cricket. Just keep enjoying.
Yeah, absolutely, very short and simple. Yeah, so thank you, signing off, guys. See you very soon.